after I realized who the person was that did that, that was the second, because when I heard what happened, I went back and listened to other work that I did with them and realized I did the same thing. I was like, you motherfucker. I'm like, so not only am I now asking that kind of question, but also I have it on my list of never to work with that person again. Hey y'all, I'm Be Free.
And I'm Q.
And you're listening to the Love in the Loop podcast, where life, love, and music meet on the same beat.
Two artists, one journey, and a mission to prove that the best collabs happen when you're in sync.
Let's go.
Welcome to Love, 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 Love in the Loop. We talk about life and love and music and all that we do.
Life and love and music.
Love, 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 Love in the Loop. We talk about life and love and music and all that we do. Love in the Loop. Love in the Loop. Love in the Loop. Love in the Loop.
Love in the loop. Yeah.
Be free and Q.
Be free and Q.
Love in the Loop.
What up, what up, what up, what up in the sunshine? What is good, everybody? You like that there? You like that intro?
I think I like it. It was very good. Very
I used
nice.
to say that all the time whenever I would answer the phone when anybody called me, which is a rare occasion. Okay, I'm a millennial. But whenever anybody calls me, especially like my family or my friends, I just be like, what up, what up, what up, what up? So, yeah, why not give it to our colloquial bunch? But hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of
The Love and the Loop with Be Free and Q.
Yes, where life, love, and music are going to meet on the same beat. I am the illustrious musical Swiss Army knife, Be Free.
And I am the chill, the cool, the collected Q of the Be Free and Q.
You can tell how much effort you put into making that sound like that. That was intentional.
Well, you got to do it with intention. What the hell you can do it for?
Absolutely. Well, we are so very excited to be back for our next installment. We are here. We are chilling. We are comfortable. I got my special shirt on because it's August. It's his birthday month. It's not right, but it's okay. Y'all can't see if you're listening on Spotify and all them things, but I have a very lovely. Please go check out the YouTube video. Speaking of which, thank you so much to everybody for all of the love that y'all have been showing us for episode 1.
Yes, very much appreciated. I didn't think you guys would care, so thank you very much.
Well, one of the things that we loved about starting this was we didn't do this for clout. We didn't do this for likes or clicks. Like obviously, yes, please watch. Please watch the stuff. But this wasn't intentional, like, oh, we're doing this to get on or nothing. This was like, we have a very specific point of view. We have an educated point of view, not only as musicians, but as human beings and as people. So we're just gonna like document all of that in the best way that we know possible to just kind of show even more evidence of our expertise. So can you do it? Yeah.
Yeah, we lived a little bit of life. We had a story to tell.
Exactly. So
why
if
not tell
you
it?
are here for the very first time, please make sure you go check out episode 1, which was titled Meet the Fars. And it talks all about who we are individually and collectively, how we got here, and how we are making this 19-year-long musical partnership work. Please make sure you follow us everywhere at Be Free and Q, because we have our own social media for our joint act now, because we are also a duo act. Okay. We do music, can do it, yeah. But you can also find the podcast everywhere the podcasts are generally streaming at by typing in that handle. And if you have thoughts about our future episodes or something you liked from one that you've seen previously, we also have a submission form that's attached to all of our links and bios where you can go and jot down your thoughts, my guy, okay? And tell us what you want us to talk about, anything you might want us to mention on air, or just anything of the sort. So please make sure you check all of that out. But today, my friend, we are going to be talking about something specific. The gasp, really? The audible gasp is
Pray
hilarious.
tell. What are we talking about today?
Today, we are going to be talking about collaboration and its qualms. Okay? Because I don't feel like enough people talk about the totality of it. Obviously, we are in an industry and in a sector of creativity that very much thrives off of this word going around and this act. But do we really talk about the ins and outs of it? Do we really talk about what goes good and bad? Do we really talk about the right and the wrong? Do we really talk about what people need to look out for or figure out for themselves before they find themselves in a not tasty situation,
Yeah.
if you will? So that is what this episode is going to be about. and just pretty much just summarizing all those sorts of things. So before we get into that, what is collaboration? What does collaboration mean to you, Quinten?
Collaboration?
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, it's kind of, well, not kind of. What I think it is, just getting together, forming a community, even if it's just for a temporary amount of time to work on a project. You know, get by with a little help from my friends. And sometimes they're not friends, which we will get into
My
later on in this
goodness.
episode.
The Beatles would be so proud.
Yeah.
That was a Beatles song, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me not. Oh, look at me being a musician, not knowing what the lyrics coming from. Oh, I'm so sorry, John and Paul and Sir Paul. Anyway, so yes, I think that I hold the same pretty much regard about what it means. But what I also wanted to do was look up, because I'm a Virgo. I wanted to look up the Webster's
You
definition
got a
of.
definition and shit?
I do.
Oh, my God.
I have two variations actually. I have the verbatim, and then I have the elaboration based on how it applies specifically to music. So get into this here.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
So Webster's definition of collaboration means to work jointly with others or together, especially in an intellectual endeavor.
All right.
Yeah. So then, of course, I went in and did a little judging, and I'm like, okay, how does it apply to music specifically? And they said, in the context of music, Webster's dictionary defines collaboration as the act of two or more musicians working together to create something special, whether it's a song, an album, or a live performance. This can involve songwriting, composing, performing, producing, or even remixing existing material. The key is the joint effort and shared creation of musical content.
That was interesting to watch. That was so animated. You're proud.
I am always proud
I'm glad
because,
that you're
I'm a
proud.
thespian, sir. So I have to make sure that every turn of the way, I'm putting in my comedic acting skills. Get into it.
All right.
But yeah, I think that it's super dope that we have your idea, we have mine, and we also have like the literal definition of what it means, because I think that it's something that's just thrown around often, but we don't always talk about what it fully entails with every single scenario, because it varies.
And especially with music, because it's been kind of like the idea that it's kind of necessary for music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Jacob Collier kind of proved that wrong.
Listen, because he collaborates with his damn self. Okay, he is his own one man everything, which I value.
But maybe he's the exception and the rule.
But you know what though? Jacob also collaborates with others often.
He does, yeah.
So I would say he has found an artful balance of being able, like, I obviously have what's within me innately to do all the things, but there's something really special. There is something really special about having another person's whole essence and their ability and their passion, and bringing that together with what you already like present to the table.
I agree. Yeah.
And creating something completely not necessarily different, but just elevate them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so collaboration can and should be in all instances beautiful,
Yes.
So that's what we like to like harness when we're really talking about or encouraging in collaboration within the arts, within music specifically. Because think about all the greatest producers and like artist acts in the world. You know what I mean? When I think about Quincy Jones, God rest his soul, like one of the first people that comes to mind is Michael.
Yes.
That in and with of itself was a great example of collaboration. You have one person in their specific art and their ability, another, and then we're gonna utilize our skill sets to bring this whole idea and body of work together.
Yeah.
So I like that. Where things get confusing, I feel like, is when everybody doesn't have the same understanding of that. But also, if everybody doesn't necessarily have the same tools in their shed, if you will. That's one way of putting that.
It's a nice way of putting that, yes.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about some of our best and our worst collab moments outside of each other, because obviously there's a collaboration that we're collaborating right now, But we'll get into that in a moment. But what is a collab that you feel like was one of your favorites that you've ever been a part of?
One of my favorite collabs. Honestly, just thinking back on this, Foreign Goods.
Aw, yeah.
Yeah, no, like in essence, that was a big ass collaboration of Milwaukee creatives
Yeah,
just coming together and making one unit. Well, collaboration. The definition you just
absolutely.
read it.
Yeah.
But no, it was everybody was me, of course, you,
Mhm.
of course. Jay Anderson. Shout out to Jay
Yeah.
Anderson, the homie. Yeah, classic. And then shout out to classic. Shout out to everybody. Abby Jean,
Yeah.
Kendall J. We had a lot of motherfuckers
You
in
had
that
a lot
group.
of MFs in that group.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's what they call a collective.
Yes.
Creative collective, if you will. Yeah, wow, I think that's dope that you say that. For anybody who's listening, obviously, if you're not from Milwaukee or don't know us from Adam,
Yeah.
Foreign Goods was this really awesome band that was
Mhm.
spearheaded by a good friend of ours named Jay Anderson. And it was essentially just a bunch of individual creatives within the city that all had some specific gift, whether it was several singers, musicians like pianists, horn players, rappers, bass, drum. He himself played the saxophone. And I think what was so dope about that also was it was not one specific thing. You could not say Foreign Goods was a genre. Foreign Goods was
Yes.
not, oh, we're an R&B group or we're a soul group or we're a
Mm.
funk group. Like we literally played whatever we felt. And a lot of the beauty of Foreign Goods came from our collaborative rehearsals,
Correct. Yes.
and performances. The performances were just like a recalibration of whatever we came up with in rehearsals. But the vibes in that sense were
Mm.
always, I feel like, attuned. We were here on one accord. Like, we all know what we're doing. Let's see what we can make of this. And I think that was a really great example.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
look
that
at
was my
you.
favorite. It was a
Yeah.
time.
Oh my goodness. And a fun fact, there is actually shout out to Joey Grahava, a local creative and author in Milwaukee. He actually did a book on the history of like Milwaukee jazz. And we're in that book.
That's right. Yeah. Damn.
We're modern history, my guy.
Get that dust off my
Exactly.
gun
Dust
right
your
there.
shoulders off, my
Mhm.
friend. No, I think that's really awesome. Like the fact that we as Foreign Goods are in that so anybody coming to read that, seeing that years from now, decades from now,
Yeah. Shout out to the
has
homies.
for sure. That's no snapshot in musical time is
Yeah.
amazing. Um
Yeah.
I feel
What say you? I'm
would
sorry.
say me. No,
Yes.
but dang, you took me back because I was like, that's actually really awesome. My favorite collaborations, I keep this separate
Mm-hmm.
because it's its own thing, and I'm
For
always
sure.
gonna say I love it, which I do. But I think it always comes back to Kellen.
Oh,
Always
come
comes
on.
back
Yeah.
to Kellen. Kellen Classic Aston, which is a great friend of mine. We've actually all went to high school together. We were
You're
all in jazz lab at Milwaukee High School of the Arts.
throwing them
Watch
things up.
episode 1 if you
Uh,
don't know what we're talking about. But I feel like everything that we've ever done, because I feel like I've collaborated with him the most often.
I say yeah.
Yeah, and everything we've ever done has always just come together specifically from an organic place. Like I moved back to Milwaukee after grad school. He was one of the first people that hit me up to add on to something he was working. It was actually a song for an independent movie that he produced and rapped on. I came and did some vocals and flute. And from there, we kind of just like, oh, this is what our style is. You know what I mean? Like, this is your style and this is how I fit around that. So every new iteration beyond that, for different songs that we did together, songs for his project, songs for mine, we grew even more in tune with one another.
Mm.
So it didn't ever feel like work.
I didn't know that was your first collab.
I think I wouldn't say very, very first. I know it was my first collab coming back to Milwaukee. You know what
That
I
played
mean?
on my that went through my playlist the
Yeah.
other day.
What do I know? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's such a dope song.
Yeah.
It's still on his SoundCloud. Please check it out. I am KLASSIK.
K in the front, K in the back.
K in the back, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So no, I think when I personally think of collaboration, that's definitely one of the things that comes to mind that brings me the most. Like, oh, well, this is dope. You know what I mean? This is what it should be. Two creative spirits moving off of what they already know of each other and seeing what they can create based off of that base of knowledge and having this really like dope product in the end of it.
For sure.
Not saying that's the only cool experience I've had, because I've had we both had a handful of really dope collaborations, but that's one of the most prominent, I think, that comes to mind.
For sure.
Yeah. So on the other end of the spectrum, What is a collaboration that and you don't have to name names. We gonna be like R&B money. I ain't saying no names, you know.
Mhm.
But or just like, are there any type of collaborations that you feel like went totally wrong? Or it turned out to be like a waste of your time or your energy, or somebody just trying to be like funky. Like we can break that down a little bit more as well. But what's the other end of the spectrum for you? What are your least favorite types of or
Start with me? Okay.
yeah.
I feel like you know this story. Um, and it encompasses everything you just named. It was a waste of my time. It was somebody trying to get over on me. Uh, so in my younger days, I think this was freshman year of high school, which makes it worse.
Uh-huh.
But anywho, freshman year of high school, I joined this band by a local African drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and he came to the high school and recruited several of the players because he that's what he does. He kind of recycles the people that come from the high school because he knows that they actually can play
Uh-huh.
and
You
all
came there
that.
poaching.
Yeah, so he poached. I thank you for the because
Yeah.
that word slipped my mind.
Uh-huh.
He came there poaching the young guys out of there, and it came with this big promise of one just going to travel and making big bucks, as he told me. You're going to make big bucks. Like, oh my God. So I think I got paid. We did at least 30 gigs. I got paid twice. I had to carry him.
Wait.
Yeah.
Out of 3-0, you
Yeah.
got, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
Because, yeah, it was always disguised or covered up as like, I want to give you like one lump sum type of thing. So that's why whenever we talk about it, like when I see this guy, if I ever do see him again, he got like a kick in the ass coming from me. But yeah, so that is, it was just one, it was, it put me off to collaborating for a while because, people take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I'm only like, how old was I? Like 13, 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a young man in high school.
I was very young.
Go ahead.
But no, that whole experience was just everything that you just described, like the worst collab or like what a bad collaboration looks like.
Mm-hmm.
There was lies on the end. I delivered my end of it, and I never got my promises or my needs met as far as the agreement. I wasted my time. I hurt myself carrying equipment. I had to bring my own equipment.
Oh.
So it made me realize the power of no.
Yeah.
As I started navigating this more professionally, because I know what non-professional looks like. Definitely after that experience.
Yeah.
But but Guy, if I ever see you.
The thing that's funny is though, I've been hearing this story for years. I'm surprised that he actually brought it up because I have been banned from ever talking about this story ever in life because it was that much of a trigger for him.
Yes.
But it was just so hilarious because like you said, he already described the dude, like he an African guy. And every time I was like, Quinten's whole family is also fucking hilarious. So they know, a few of them know who he is too. They be like,
shit.
Quinten, you're going to make the big bucks. Big smackaroons, Muriduni. I'm like, where is this accent coming from? So every time I think about this person, you mentioned, and it also was so funny. I actually did a show that this person was in 2014.
I couldn't believe that shit.
Was like, and then Quinten did not know that he was gonna be there, and he was in the audience, and I was like, oh, hope he ain't gonna walk out.
Yeah, I don't think you didn't tell me till after, right? Or some shit like that. Because I don't think I saw him.
I don't think I realized that it was that person until like the full like roster came out of that nature.
I know I've been changed.
Oh my God.
So what about you? What is give us your story.
It's funny because I don't have a particular story. Like I don't have like oh, this was my worst thing ever. I'm never like I don't have anything as poignant as you do. But I do have like scenarios and that I'm just like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? And it mostly comes from because also, as I mentioned, like I'm musical Swiss Army knife, but I do an array of things. Like people will call me to sing. People will call me to play flute. Sometimes one or the other or both. You know what I mean? Occasionally there's some production acts in there. But I feel like it's really just been the situations where I felt like I put forth so much just to get so little back in return.
Yes.
You know, so I couldn't even like that can apply to so many things. I have some very specific examples to bring up with the additional like things we're gonna explore with this topic. But I don't know if I can pinpoint it. So whoever out there biting their nails, knowing they done collabed with me and you done some bull, say your prayer. Be glad.
Point at
Okay.
all the cameras.
No, I'm serious. Be glad
to yo
that you
ass.
have been spared. All right. But I bet you think what how it go? I bet you think this song is about you. If you think this pod is about you, it is. So get it tight.
Well,
Get it
yeah.
right.
If the shoe fit, feel free to lace that bitch up and put it on.
Alrighty then. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. I think that's something I really, really, really wanted to talk about as well. Because, and it's actually the inspiration behind the topic for me, the confusion that comes with trying to navigate the world of collaboration as an artist. Because, as you said, this is something that's like impeded upon us from the entry points. You know, everything we've ever done from the beginning of our musical training has always involved some elaboration of collaborating. Everything we were doing when we were in Jazz Lab together, that was all based on collaboration as well. Learned, mind you, but it was still collaborating to a very specific degree. But I feel like there's just so much stuff that we don't know how to navigate because we're just kind of thrown into the wolves often. For example, we have done a lot of work with friends. I mentioned working with Classic. You mentioned that dope ass collaborative we had with Foreign Goods. I don't think that everybody understands how to draw the line between session work for hire, music features, and vibe sessions. And that's very specific, but I think that the blurred lines of all of that is what makes collaboration so confusing for a lot of artists because everybody doesn't necessarily have the same intention going in. Or maybe they do, but they just don't think that, you know, you're gonna like bring it up, you know?
Yeah.
So it gets really hard for me. For example, I recently attended the Money Long Songwriters Forum here in Los Angeles a little while ago in Culver City. Really amazing. 2 days. 2 days straight of just getting all the intel, listening to Tricky Stewart and all these amazing producers and songwriters that are in the industry. Money herself talked. I met some amazing people. Like that's really my favorite part of the whole thing was the amazing human beings that I got to connect with. But as I looked at the overview of information I was being given, songwriting is like unsafe. It feels like a very unsafe avenue because I am always being told how people are getting screwed over.
Yeah.
And we're talking about legally, we're talking about copyright, we're talking about being properly registered for work that I've done and it's not written down. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone to a lot of music workshops over the span of my career. And every single one of them where there's some artist, a producer, or a songwriter, they have all beat into me. No, you need to make sure that your stuff is protected. Or you need to make sure that everybody knows who's getting what splits. And when we're talking about splits, we're talking about the proper way that the ownership of the art, the work that's being created is divided amongst the people who's doing it, right?
Yeah.
And everybody in every songwriting scenario that I keep hearing about is constantly being screwed over. Tiffany Red is a great songwriter on the mainstream industry, but she has a huge thing on her. She's carrying a lot of weight right now because she's trying to fight for like a songwriters union, even. You know what I mean? Because they, for some reason, don't think that we need one. It's like the musicians are the most screwed over individuals in the history of time. I swear. It is like the only thing harder than being black and being a black woman, being a musician. I swear.
So you
like,
went for the triple threat.
I think so.
Okay,
I'm just like 3 for the kill, bro.
Right.
Like it's really hard. But because we are taught to a very specific degree, like vibes are important. You know, we can't. I've never been in a scenario where I've been able, I'm still making my way through, obviously, but I have not been in a scenario when I've come right in and I'm like, hey, we're all writing a song together. Cool. Split sheets? I got
Mhm.
one right here. Let's pull it up. Blah blah blah. And then I'm gonna keep track of how many lines I write. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also I get why it's necessary because if nobody has the conversation, then nothing gets accounted for. And
Mhm.
that's how we end up with miscellaneous and erroneously unclaimed ownership of things that need to be divided. Any thoughts on that before I continue? Because clearly I was waiting.
I see you about to unloaded the clip on there.
You said click, boom.
Honestly, no, you kind of said it all.
Yeah.
Just, going into these things with these expectations without any confirmation.
Yeah.
That's where people screw themselves over.
Uh-huh. I think that also it's important to define session work and slash work for hire versus features. That's also a area that I get confused about in
Yeah.
collaboration because somebody can come to me and they'll be like, "Oh, I want you to play flute on this song. I have a song that I've written or produced already." And then, okay, I'm just adding flair. I'm adding essence to what you already have. But then if you're asking me to do something that I feel like is greatly present, if I'm singing like a whole verse, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or if I'm playing adding all these extra harmonies and things that greatly enhances the song, to me, that qualifies as a feature. And I
Yeah.
think that it needs to be correctly established with everybody involved about what exactly is expected, before.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, I've done session work. I've recently gotten more into that out here as well. And it's just frustrating because yes, it's work for hire, but at the same time, Beyonce credits every single person that sings and plays and writes on her things. You look up the credits for Break My Soul and you see all 40 names of that choir. Motivation. If I sang New Foundation 2 times, my name will be on that motherfucker. There's no reason why I should do session work, and then on prominence, and mind you, and then I go look and there's nothing there. Like that's
Yeah.
disappointing. But
Mm.
it's like where does the line get drawn? You know, um, Navigating, collaborating with others is very, very hard to approach from a business standpoint
Yes.
because it's built to be very colloquial. It's presented to be a very colloquial act. And I feel like that's where most people are coming from. However, you and I are bosses. You know what I'm saying? More importantly, we are professionals. You know what I'm saying? This is not just something we do because we love it.
This is our job.
This is our literal
Yeah.
career. This is and you especially, my guy. You are a full-time. I'm so proud of you. Just saying that out loud feels dope. But I'm saying you are a full-time musician.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's not a whole lot of opportunity for just like shooting the shit. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I've been in a lot of scenarios, and this is especially true on the lower end indie level, but especially entry point. But I've been in a lot of scenarios where people have come to me and like, hey, let's vibe. Let's see what we can create.
Vibes, bro. Let's do
Right.
vibe.
And then we've created something and they like what we created. And what happens? They come back.
Mhm.
They come back because they're like, oh, we've got this rapport going. We made this dope shit. Let's do it again. What didn't happen the first time was nobody asked for any money. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? And now, not only is this now beyond like the friend or the favor, we're now entering into territory of I know this person is going to do things because they vibe with me, so I don't even have to entertain the idea of like paying them.
Mm.
And that's where it gets hard. I'm not a hard ass. I do love working. There's people out here in LA that I would love to be in a room with and just see what happens. But also at the same time, I respect the fact that this is everybody's job. You know what
Yes.
I mean? Like, and I don't know. I have not figured that out myself. I just had a situation recently where great artists that I really love and respect. I met them and we were talking about doing something. I brought up the conversation of pay. That's just what I do. I'm like, and if you're like, oh, I don't have this much or I don't have whatever, I'm very much willing to like figure it out. But I've learned that not saying anything puts me in those scenarios of being just continuously used.
Mhm.
And I don't want to go into the the next phase of my professional career still doing those same things,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I think it's important to establish that shit early on. Or at least if it's somebody you're comfortable with, obviously you can sort it out later.
Mm-hmm.
But I still prefer like, hey, because people, like you said, they get over on, something you did, and then you won't hear from them for a while, and
Yeah.
then you listen like, hey, I kind of know this song that's playing right now, and
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
remember being at that session, and
Mhm.
it's been released. Oh, okay, that's nice.
No, for real.
That's good for them.
It's murky waters. It's murky
Yeah.
waters because I feel like, unfortunately, because I've taken that approach of asking first, I feel like I've lost out on some potential cool opportunities.
Mhm.
I feel like it's unfortunately like alienated a few folks from me, possibly. I can socially I can tell when like interactions change after the question is presented. But it's like that's a risk that we unfortunately have to be willing to take.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, the baseline is creative gifts, fun, vibe, yes, but it's also a source of me being able to pay my Los Angeles rent.
Yes.
So please just respect it. I have, on the other side of that, I've had a couple of scenarios out here, and you as well, where people have approached us to collaborate, to add on to like work that they're already creating, and respectfully asked us, what are your rates?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, were the sessions any less fun?
No.
I don't think so.
It was a lot more fun.
Exactly. Well, you know why? Because everybody would have the same baseline of expectancy. There was no, oh, I'm doing all this cool stuff, but are they actually going to pay? There was no curiosity. There was nothing to be wondered about, And I think I really rock with our other fellow artists who understand that of like, okay, this is your thing. So let me at least offer you, like, I'm offering to pay. And then let's get in the room and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. Speaking back on the splits, something I just learned more about is, because I don't even know if this is the appropriate term, but I think it's called like Nashville splits or something like that. Please don't quote me on the exact phrasing. I just learned about it on Instagram.
On Instagram.
But it has something. Oh, excuse me, pop splits. That's what it's called. It's called pop splits. And it is very, very racist. Because it is specifically pertaining to the difference in how they often split music and pop music versus R&B and hip hop. Because they say, and I mostly have heard about this and how they collaborate musically in Nashville. Because in Nashville or in pop music, I guess, whoever's in the room is in the room. If you're writing something, you're doing something, and you're doing a whole good amount of stuff, but I'm over here and I was like, oh yeah, go, and you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna put that in the song. And then the whole song becomes, you know what I'm saying? Even though I wrote that one line, and you wrote like this part, this person wrote that, it's not an issue of, okay, well, Brittany will, so how much percentage are we going to give her for that? It's about, no, everybody's contributing to what's the totality of this art is, so everybody's getting even splits, period.
I love the reenactment or the enactment of what
that was just a random melodious
that was
line.
Nice.
But you see what I mean? That type of collaboration also makes sense. And I would fight for that to be just the universal approach, because on the other end of the spectrum, I think it was Ray Daniels, who's a person involved in the industry for a long. He was talking about this specifically. He was like, "Yeah, I've had songs where hip hop guys are real. Hell no, I'm not giving them the even split. No, I'm keeping all my points. No. I wrote 50% of the song. No. And I'm like,
that's shitty.
Who has time to calculate what the percentage is of how much I wrote 3 sentences? There's no math for that. There's no app. There's no calculation for me figuring out I wrote 3 sentences of a song, therefore this is the actual percentage you should be giving me. It gets complicated. And I personally think stuff like that gets funky as far as killing the vibe and ruining the mood. So if collaboration was all about just equal access and equal contribution, but everybody being on the same page about it, I think that would make it a better place as well. I was clearly ready. I feel like I've been talking for 40 minutes and 40 nights. Because this was like, when we were going through our topics, I was like, no, we have to say something about this because we are always complaining about these things. But have we ever talked about it at length? And what better place to do that than the Love in the Loop?
This is where we talk our shit.
Exactly. Right?
going off of that, collaborating, this usually is a problem with people like you're just now meeting or don't know too well.
Mm.
But say you're collaborating with somebody that you know very well.
Yeah.
Maybe are in a 19-year relationship with this person.
Who that?
Yeah, some fool.
Some fool. Oh my God.
Yeah, because even with our rapport, we've been collaborating for a very damn long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always milk and honey, as they always say, right?
No, it ain't.
Yeah, so
Sometimes it's sugar and grits, which is gross. Okay.
that's for another podcast. So when we're collaborating,
Yeah.
like obviously I enjoy it,
Mm-hmm.
because you're my best friend, not just my friend, my best friend, and you understand. I feel like we understand each other to a level where the verbal and nonverbal communication is on point,
Mm-hmm.
so we can always communicate what we need to say or do.
Yeah.
But what are some of your experiences, I guess, good and or bad, with collaborating with me?
With you.
Yeah.
I will say, I think that the collaboration between us being a music married couple is very much a double entendre. It is very much a double-edged sword because we are not only having to navigate collaborating as musical partners and creatives, we are also talking about this collaboration of life that we have decided to embark
Yes.
upon together. So I think that they honestly, for us, they go in tandem, and that is something that over the years with growth and continuing to learn one another and each other's styles and each other's preferences and each other's abilities, it's only because of that we have been able to come to what I think is like a sweet spot or a space.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So it has not always been that way.
That's not.
I think that especially earlier on in our
Mm.
relationship, we've even had instances in like musical rehearsals or like things and we just were not on the same page, and it does get frustrating. It gets frustrating, but I think that having enough know-how at this point to walk away from something, to give it like time and fresh ears or fresh whatever, fresh perspective, if you
Yes.
will, has definitely been our best way to navigate through that. So now that we're in this 19-year joint thingy thing, marriage is what it's called.
I think it thing, yes.
Now that we're in this 19-year marriage and musical partnership, what are the natural strengths and weaknesses that we each possess when it comes to collaborating with each other? And you can speak this as it comes from a musical standpoint, but if you wish to talk about how it applies to us as a husband and wife in general, that's also fine.
Okay. I mean, everything's interconnected with us,
Mhm.
so it's all relative. Um, I guess strengths. Obviously, I just mentioned it. Like we have such a good rapport
Yeah.
that we kind of, we're able to communicate verbally and non-verbally and get, what we need out of each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's always great because, especially collaborating with people you haven't or you're not familiar with or you're just meeting,
Mm-hmm.
like you don't know how to communicate with them sometimes, or you don't know the extent of their knowledge to get the job done.
Yeah.
Like if a drummer can't play a certain beat, like how do I, let you know like that shit is trash and
Yeah.
do something else. You said strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
or like things we have to overcome.
Yeah. Natural strengths and weaknesses when creating together. It doesn't necessarily have to be overcome.
Um,
Challenges, but
so a challenge. Let's say challenge. I guess weakness is a weird word for this.
it's the antithesis of strength.
I'd say challenge.
Go ahead.
So a challenge or weakness, I would say, is how. I guess it's not so much now,
Mm-hmm.
but even like when we first started, and very rarely now, is we kind of create differently.
Mm.
As in, like you're a very structured person when it comes to your creativity.
Oddly enough.
Yeah, which is, I mean, because it's something you care about, and when you do something you care about, you're going all the way in on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yeah, you're very structured. Like you already know what parts you want to play
Yeah.
and do all of this. It's not a lot of room for shit outside of your vision. if that makes sense. And to me, I'm just kind of how did I used to describe it? It's kind of like I forget the phrase that I have for it, but I record everything. Just
Yeah.
kind of like musical vomit. Just kind of let it flow out. Now, that's why
That's the
I,
choice
I
of words.
probably why I forgot or stopped saying that shit.
Yeah.
But just everything is just, continuous. I put everything down. I usually just kind of loop it until I get an idea and then spread it out. But you're like, okay, I know I want this here, this needs to be like you're building in blocks.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of just building in like mud.
Wow.
If that makes sense, right?
Well, mud is used to build bricks.
Correct.
So
but no, I'm actual mud and hasn't been molded yet. Yeah.
You know what? I just came up with this really awesome analogy that I think perfectly highlights the difference between you and I based on what you just said. You are very much an Ableton person, and I am very much a Logic Pro. And I mean that in the sense of Ableton, in its essence, appears to be designed to be a catch-all from being able to get things as they're coming out, at least the way I've seen you utilize it.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't have the ability to do other things too, clearly. But in its essence, I feel like most people are using it in the way that you highlight that. I am a Logic Pro person, meaning I'm building bricks. I'm building blocks. I'm building structure. I'm building songs. I'm building portions. I'm building parts. And I'm not to say you can't like stack everything as it comes to you, but I'm always thinking in the vein of formation. And I'm always thinking from the vein of, I would say, making things make sense. Like, yes, we have these ideas, but how is it going to actually become a song? How is it actually going to be? How are we going to separate these parts? And I think that kind of highlights the essence of what you were just talking about with the difference between how we work and how we function.
Yes.
As well.
Very much.
Yeah. I will say that in this day and age, in this time of our life and our relationship and musical stuff, I think we're each making a really strong effort to go over to the other person's side of the street whenever we come together. You know what I mean? It's like there's a great deal of compromise involved. There's a great deal of like taking off your cool and like just, okay, can you just not be okay for a moment? I know this doesn't make sense, and this is you talking to me. I know it doesn't make sense, but just go through it. You know what I'm saying? And then I promise we will get to the other side. I feel like that's a lot of like what happens.
That's the perfect way to describe it.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But one of the things that I love is, especially looking at the different types of music that we listen to, like even like you have such an eclectic person.
Thank you.
I'm such a fan of just all the different things that come up on our car shuffles when we're in the driving somewhere.
Oh yeah, some shit be scary.
Right. But I think that it's really cool that you have this openness about the way that you create. You know what I mean? And I feel like because of my length and time of structure of being that I bring that to the table. Like how can we take all this dopeness and actually make it a linear thing that people can actually like eventually receive? And not even saying that all art has to be what's the word? Not all art was intended to be absorbed necessarily, or it don't always have to meet the public ear or eye. But I'm always thinking of how, because I listen to my own shit. Okay, if it feels and sound good to me, then I know anybody else would like it too. But I need to get it to that point first, as I'm creating. And I think, and us having those individual traits about one another, I think has what's made our balanced creative collaboration always work the best.
You're all right.
All right, so funny story. Before we keep moving on, I know earlier I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say nothing." Blah, blah, blah. I actually did think of a story.
Oh,
because I think it's gonna lead us into like our cautionary aspect of it. One thing that is important in collaboration that we've pretty much established is communication. There are things that you don't think you need to communicate about that become a problem later. Example, I was asked to sing something. big surprise. I was asked to sing something on somebody's thing, and this artist, they are great. I still love them to this day. Like they are super talented. I loved what became of it. I was like, oh, okay, you got that going on. I am the harmony queen. Okay. That's my zhuzh.
That is.
There's two things you're gonna get from me is harmonies and strings. Okay. If you ever hear a Be Free song on the radio, you know that's gonna be my my tag. However, that's also I enjoy it. I enjoy and because people don't think. People don't think.
Yeah, people
Period.
don't think.
But I mean,
at
people
all.
don't think to go in the. I don't think they go think of the sonic capabilities of their work until I like. Oh, try this on for size. You know what I'm saying? Like I take great pride in zhuzhing up things with harmonics and symphonic sounding work.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I mostly do that with my vocal stacking, with my vocal layering, me adding a bunch of different harmonies and variations of that to have this grand sound. That's why one of my traits.
Okay.
And I gave them this beautiful piece of work. They loved it. I knew that the work was not coming out yet. They then took it to their engineer, who also happened to be, I guess, just helping to arrange what the final product was going to sound like. Not thinking, again, because I've had such positive experiences working with Classic, working with you, other people. If I've ever given people something, they take what I give them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then that's what it is.
Oh, wait, I know this story now. I'm thinking, like, what the hell is this? Okay.
I finally get the song back because I think either I had to ask about it or it was like getting ready to be released, one of the two. And then I found out this person who was engineering stripped all of my harmonies off. Took every last it was like listening to a naked cat. I literally had one sole vocal line on top of this person's already established thing, and it sounded so freaking bland. It was boring. It was terrible. Not the song itself was not bad, but because I knew that without the context of what I intentionally added musically, that one sole line did not make any sense.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But to this person, I think they assumed that I was being too busy or I was being too much. So that is another aspect of that's probably my absolute least favorite collaboration experience. But it was an indirect collaboration because anybody tell me that so and so was gonna have any hands on my work. You know, I was giving the artist what they asked of me, which was my essence. You know, so because of that, I now keep a pin in my head, like, okay. One, whenever I'm in those type of scenarios, I need to have some kind of written or verbal communication with them. Can you please give me back if you want to change anything that I've done or take anything out? Can you please let me hear before you release it? You know, write that down. I need to hear the final product before it's released because if it doesn't match the artistic integrity of what I gave you, then this collaboration is a misrepresentation of me artistically. And I'm not going to feel comfortable not only having my name on it, but I'm also not going to feel comfortable promoting it. And that's also been a lot of scenarios in a lot of past work. Because you gotta be clear too, bro. Like, when you are an independent artist, especially just starting
I know
out,
this story too.
I ain't even gonna go that deep. But like, when you're just starting out, we kind of have been taught you have to hop on any and everything. Collaboration is it. Collaboration is key. You know what I'm saying? Like, this person want to do sure. This person do sure. Okay, yeah, I'll get on that song. I'll hop on that. I'll do this. I'll do that. And then sometimes you're agreeing to things before hearing what they sound like. And then you get to the moment or the day or the event or the studio, whatever, and you're like, oh, this is not good. You know what I mean? It's not in my eyes. This is not something that I would present as being my where I artistically stand. So it's also created this one there's nothing wrong with saying no.
Nothing wrong
There's
with it.
nothing wrong with saying no. I don't personally believe that every situation of group creation is necessary. And we can get into our next segment of like wrapping that up of like these red flags that we have come to discern in our career, the span of our music careers between each other. But I will also, just to put a pin on that story I was telling, that was the second time after I realized who the person was that did that, that was
Mhm.
the second because when I heard what happened, I went back and listened to other work that I did with them and realized they did the same thing. I was like, "You motherfucker,
Mhm.
you motherfucker, you." I'm like, so not only am I now asking that kind of question, but also I have it on my list of never to work with that person again.
Okay.
If they're involved.
I
Now,
see.
if me and the original person that came to me wants to do something, sure, but I'm going to ask who mixing your shit?
All right.
Because it's not your job. Uh, so out of all of these things that we've been talking about, we have a lot of very specific insight, a lot of like experiences, a lot of yeses and nos, a lot of ups and downs. I think it's safe to say that we have gathered a good collection of industry insight and common collab red flags.
Yes.
So we have a few of them listed here. I think that we can either just go back and let's go back and forth because I'll be talking a lot.
You be talking a
I'll be
lot,
talking a
yes.
whole lot. Let's just read each one off so that people can have a list for themselves, a little checklist, if you will, of things to go through when you are considering a collaboration of any sort.
Well, we have first here vibe misalignment,
Mm-hmm.
which is I mean, the simplest way is everybody ain't for everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Which is more about that story I just mentioned. I told 8 stories in
You
one.
told like 12 stories. Yeah.
The one in particular about not knowing what the project was going to sound like before I said yes.
Mm-hmm.
You had vibe alignment also specifically applies to knowing what the work is that you're being asked to do before you can consider if it's going to be something that you can rock with.
Well, that's where the power of no comes in. Because
Mhm.
if it's not what you want to do, I mean, shit, be upfront. Tell them that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, and I think that we had to get brave enough about that. You know, because like I said, when you're just starting out, or if you're just trying to move into Los Angeles, for example, trying to make new friends and don't forget the old. If you're
Mm.
trying to build new community, you don't necessarily want to be the person being this inquisitive, but also like just because you have this name or just because you have this act or this thing, if what you're doing, I don't personally think is tasteful to me, then why would I shouldn't feel an obligation to attach myself to it just for the sake of saying I did,
Yes.
you know? So vibes always have to be aligned for sure. What about communication issues, Quinton?
What about them?
How is that a red? What kind of how does that relate to this as far as
That's
being a red
that's just a
flag?
red flag for being a person.
Mm-mm.
That's just a trait of a not well thought out, put together person.
Wow.
If you're not, that's the most basic shit. Like that's the first thing you learn, like as an infant,
Mm-hmm.
is communicating.
Yeah.
Like if you're not doing that, you're not giving me times. I mean, we're gonna talk about that in later on the road about how motherfuckers communicate.
Yeah.
But especially with gigging. But yeah,
Oh my God. That needs to
that's
be an episode within itself.
that's yeah.
Yeah. Let me speak on that a tiny bit. I won't take forever.
Don't take forever.
Because that is another form of collaboration. If
Mhm.
we're gigging together, if we are performing together, we're collaborating together.
Yeah.
So if you are asking me to embark on a collaborative journey with you, please tell me what it is.
Mhm.
It's no different than you asking me to be a part of a song and I said yes, or you expected me to say yes and I haven't heard it yet, and then I find out later on it's a song talking about God bless Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? Like, this random shit. Like, when it comes to gigs, I need all the information. I need everything because I need to discern
Mhm.
whether or not this is something that is going to align with me. It's not just about are you free that day?
Yeah.
You know, are you me agreeing to come and collab with you, come be a part of this venture with you requires you communicating to me fully and wholeheartedly what it is that I'm getting ready to get myself into so I can make an educated decision.
Mhm.
So people need to understand that. And we will talk more about that as we go on. I swear it's probably gonna come up every episode, but I'm so sick of that still being a thing.
Yes.
And I'm so sick of people not taking heed. Tighten up.
All right, you oh, we're on the next one. No clear role or agreement.
No clear role or agreements. What does that how does that highlight to you as a red flag to look out for?
Honestly, it ties into communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause, I mean, if you're not telling me what to do, then what the hell am I doing here?
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
What do I know? I think also the things that I was saying about not understanding the difference between session work and, work for hire and feature, like it needs to be clear cut what the what's being anticipated, you
The
know.
thing is, even if you don't have, because a lot of people, they run off of vibes. Everything's a vibe and vibe and
Mhm.
that. But even if you don't have specific roles, say that. Like, we're just gonna
Yeah.
get in here, and I like you to just be in the room.
But also, don't feel weird or don't be weird about when the roles do eventually get solidified through that creation of you all then having to have another conversation about how you're going to make sure this is properly documented,
Hmm.
allocated. I actually am a part of this Facebook group for background singers. And I just be watching and reading, in case something comes up in LA that I can be a part of. But I saw somebody post yesterday about a session that they went into, a vocal session, and they got hired essentially as just a regular singer for one part. They initially were supposed to be the vocal producer, but they went when once they found out his rate,
Hmm.
they went and found somebody else. So they're like, "Well, you can still sing on the song." They're like, "Okay, fine, whatever." So went to sing. Turned out the person that they hired did not do a great job because none of the other singers knew what they were supposed to be singing.
Hmm.
So not essentially what ended up happening was he ended up having to play cleanup. And then he became the then end all vocal producer of the thing, which and not only does that involve me collaborating with the people at hand, the musicians, the vocalists to make sure they understand what they should be singing, but now I'm taking on a role of
Hmm.
within my business, within my skill set, and that is where people need to also be aware and open to communicating about collaboration. Very much entails an aspect of my livelihood. So if we're going to be cool and if the vibes are going to be set correctly, then we have to be able to recalibrate that if it turns into something else. Get into it, yeah.
Very passionate about this topic.
I think that the next one is great as well. Money versus opportunity.
Mm.
Money versus opportunity. What say you, Quinton?
I think both are very important. Obviously, money would be, I guess, more of a priority, only because LA rent, the shit is high,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay to just go to certain sessions or whatever, just trying to meet up with people just to build community
Mm-hmm.
and just to I guess the opportunity to work with somebody, having the experiences and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like, I have to keep myself in check with what I want to do with that,
Yeah.
because there's only so far I'm going to go as
Mm-hmm.
far as just off a raw opportunity. Like, obviously, say somebody like Brian Michael Cox called me, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I might get that
But
call.
this is mostly talking
I'm gonna go
on a local
anyways.
level,
Yeah.
where it's just like, you got to realize that my time is being invested into this thing.
Mhm.
Because I've been in situations where people just kind of want to link up for 8 hours, for whatever collaboration. It's cool and all, but like, man, I got other shit to do.
Yeah. And I think that in this regard too, when trying to think about I think it's also speaking about when people try to present the opportunity as it has an equal weight
Mm-hmm.
versus money. Now, some scenarios can be that.
Mm-hmm.
For a case in point, I think Cosign I was watching This Week in R&B, and he was talking about how he came into the room, was invited into the room where a Chris Brown song was being made. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was like, "Oh yeah, we should ask some I play sax. You got your sax? Shit, it's in my trunk." And then I think he said he did like a light jog
Yeah.
all the way back to the car. Now, was that something that was probably like, "Oh, we had to pay him first"? Who knows? But that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but people, I think it comes along the lines of people trying to present every opportunity as if it's going to be that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like the level and the magnitude of every opportunity does vary. And there are some scenarios that will make sense for you just to do them because you're building the relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't like when that's all people are pushing
Mhm.
especially if there's no direct example of like follow through. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, it gets funky. It gets
Yes.
funky. So that's definitely something to listen about when talking about collaboration with other folks.
Just be clear and upfront with what you want to do.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have a plan, that is a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So just, let it be known. It's okay to do things where you may not get the return you're expecting,
Mm-hmm.
but just, I'm not going to be helping everybody out like they're my friend.
And then it's hard to determine who's trying to become your friend.
Yeah.
For what? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like, oh, but you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I know from experience that if I become colloquial enough with B and Q, then I can get invited to the house. You know what I'm saying? I can get invited to the studio space, and then we just gonna be up in there vibing because we're kicking it and homie like that.
Yeah, vibe
Then,
house. Yeah, let's do that,
exactly.
yeah.
And then it becomes like, well, I don't want that to be the case either. Because do we do it with our friends? Sure. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I don't want people just being like, I don't want people thinking that's a cheat code. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not fair.
Like people are using you.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of being like authentic,
All this is about just discernment. I will say one of the next points that came up from this was also like just communication, continuing talking about communication or lack of follow through. I hate that I have also been in like a bad position when it comes to collaboration because I've had people ask me for things and I've agreed to do it, but then I don't end up doing it in a timely fashion. Which I greatly and gravely apologize for if that's any of you out there listening. It is never with intention. Life be happening. Life be lifing, as we all know.
Yeah.
Especially for me, if you follow any of my other socials, okay? Get into it, yeah. But I think that being able to be responsive, with everybody who is a collective party that you're trying to do something. And then also, like you said, like there's nothing wrong with expressing that this may not be a good fit. If you get into a situation and it's a collaboration and you're like, I thought it was gonna be dope, but it doesn't seem to be working, then everybody has to be okay with that too. You were going to add on to that?
Oh no.
You sound excited. You about to I think I heard an audible gasp from your lips.
No, honestly, I was about to fall off the stool.
Oh,
so I was
God.
trying to catch myself.
So in a sense, everybody can cook. And we just have to make sure we are all trying to make the same recipe and make sure that we know the flavor of the sauce and we all have an equal amount of ingredients.
Yes.
Look at that. Analogies one time.
Yeah, just don't be coming in and adding your own sugar to our sauce.
Goodness. So, as I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, we have a submission form that we have created for any of our friends and supporters and listeners to go and jot down their thoughts about anything they might want us to list on our topics or what we're talking about in the episodes. And because this episode was about collaboration and this Qualms, I did post this in our socials and got a response or two from a friend. So we're going to do what I'm calling call and response. You like that musical terminology?
We got segments now, episode 2. Like
right. So this question was specifically posed to me in my DMs as I posted these things from one of my great friends, Javon Landry. 1/3 MC, 1/3 photographer, 1/3 filmographer. I gotta get it. Oh, that's a title. I love it. But you gonna say it all. My personal videographer as well, my friend from Chicago, just simply wanted to know, what is it like to deal with conflict? And I think that she was interested in knowing, especially how it relates to us being married. Like collaboration is one thing, like just musically collaborating and trying to get through those hurdles. But how do we also deal with conflict to the point of it not becoming a huge thing or blowout when it comes to us living and being with one another?
I'll start this off.
Of course.
Well, this big ass segment we just came from, communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk a lot.
Mm-hmm.
As we all see with, you probably talk the most.
I don't mean to. Watch next episode, I'm gonna say nothing.
Nah, it's all right. You kind of got to talk on that one.
Yeah, you're right.
But no, just honestly talking it out. Because if it gets to a point where it gets like weird and shit, we'll just like shut the session down. God damn, why was that so hard to say?
I don't know.
Anywho, we'll shut the shit down and then just be like, okay, let's clear the air. Like, what's going on? What are you feeling right now?
Uh-huh.
Like, do we need to take a break? Do we need to do something else?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it took years from when we first started dating until now, because now it's kind of like, okay, pick up on the signals, or we
Yeah.
kind of know, all right, then let's go do something else. Let's take our mind off of this shit. If it's draining,
Mm-hmm.
if we're not enjoying it, then it's time to do something else.
Yeah.
But no, just
Ooh.
mainly just going around talking and communication is the
I
answer.
don't think that there's it's interesting because I can't personally attest to other people's what leads them to get into the end point when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to their relationship or their marriage or what have you. I think it was just like, oh, well, it's so hard for people to stay together these days. It's so hard for people to maintain, their marriages and their relationships are one thing, but this is a constant collaboration.
Yeah.
The us being together and us choosing to live life on this musical accord and music and matrimony is a constant collaboration effort. And all those other things that we just talked about, those are things that were learned traits that we also have to apply with one another. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Obviously, communication is key. Obviously, being open to things changing, but also being open and honest about expectancies. But then realizing too, like if something is not working, what can we do to take a step back and recalibrate what we can do to make this an actual like functioning thing,
Yeah.
That's something that took us a long time to actually get to that point of, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think go ahead.
I was saying in the 90s, we had this phrase called take a chill pill.
So
So,
take it down to
yeah, take it
1,000.
down 1,000. So we have, I feel like now we have a jar of chill pills.
Uh-huh.
And you just pop one whenever you're feeling unchilled.
I agree. I don't know how it specifically applies, or in my personal experience, I don't think I've had any like sincere conflict with collaborating with others as far as musically. Like I don't know how I would alter from that, but I imagine it's the same approach of like, okay, let's just take a break. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, and then, but also like if after said break, everybody comes to like their own vantage point of what's going on. Okay, let's try this instead. Let's change that up. Or this ain't working. You can go home. Like, who knows? Like, it feels like that's a similar aspect. But I think just like communication and honesty is always, and also for us, like if you watched episode 1, like you have to understand this is something that we fought for. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? We are not the average bears. Like people who we literally survived 1.5 long distance relationship aspects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like going through living in separate states and then together and then separate again. Like we fought tooth and nail. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? To get to this point of survival with being able to present that this is where we are. So I don't think that conflict is something that we treat as an end all be all anymore. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
No, I agree.
Yeah, like we know that it just comes with the territory, but we now after 19 years, we have enough tools in our artillery to know how to approach that shit.
Because the thing is, just going back off of that, going to past instances where we've had some issues or whatever,
Yeah.
and we like come to the point where we're both ready to talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
It always comes to motherfuckers. We just didn't understand each other, which is a communication thing.
Yeah.
Like this is how I was feeling. Oh, this is how I was feeling. How did you get that from that? And then blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. Like, well, actually talking about this shit would have like helped all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Another question, how do you ask for payment when someone tries to do the favor for favor thing? Oh.
Oof. I mean, you got more experience than I do
You
on
know
this
what's
one.
interesting? I actually just had a scenario where and it was something that I initiated, a very specific collaboration with a friend because I needed some creative direction advice.
Okay.
But I specifically offered
Mm.
financial compensation off bat because yes, I knew that the nature of this collaboration was going to be very much vibe and us just talking and listening and figuring things out, which is dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the respect level. Now, somebody that approaches you off bat, like without mentioning the money first, and they're just like, oh, maybe I can do this and then you can do something later. I think we all have to just be we have to be cool with being that person. I'm not saying you're trying to be a bitch, but it's like, but we're just like, I just need to know. You know what I mean? And I'm also gonna be honest if I can't afford to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's another thing too, especially out here, especially in Los Angeles. I can only imagine how many other creatives besides us. Like this is their literal like. I'm hoping to get to the point where our creative endeavors are all we have to focus on. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but if you're like, no, I need to make rent. You know, favor is cool, but unless that favor involve you paying a third of the shit, like no, like like I need to be honest and forthcoming.
And I will also say it greatly depends on, what the situation is.
Mhm.
Like say, for instance, this is something that would come up with you just thinking about it. Like someone asks you to do some background vocals on the track,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, they can't give you any money, but they're a photographer. And
Oh,
you're looking for somebody to take pictures, you know what I mean?
yes. Yes.
So yeah, if it's something worthwhile, obviously explore it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with, I guess
Trading services.
services.
Yes.
But if you're just like offering to like change my oil or like wash my car or some shit, like take that shit somewhere else.
You take that to the bank. I can't change my own oil.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna listen. Yes,
oh, that is a sweet deal.
if you telling me that you're gonna be my personal hood mechanic, then we are going to get into it. Yeah, okay.
Oh, see, that's different. A hood mechanic. No, you always need one of those.
Come on, but you're right. You're also
Yeah.
because if we're being specific about these are the creative services or creative skill sets that I have, I would love to do one of these for you in exchange.
Mm.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That is dope. Because there is not a time where we don't need a photographer for something as artists. You know what I'm saying? As musicians, we're always I need one now. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know something, if you know that you have something of specific value, lead with that.
For sure.
And I think that can also make situations a lot less awkward. I respect situations where people have said upfront, I don't have a lot of money or I don't have, this to pay for you, but here's what I can do XYZ because I'm not a freaking Beverly Hillbilly. I don't have a lot of money either. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we're
Beverly Hillbilly. Wow.
So I'm my 90s kid age.
Jesus.
But you see what I'm saying? Like trading, bartering and trading creatives, exchanging creatives are all yet another form of collaboration as well. And people understanding that and just using their discernment and communication, I think is what's gonna help all of that just go a long way.
This whole episode is just say what you want and say what you mean.
Say what you need to say.
And even on the opposite end of it, like if you don't want to do it, don't.
Uh-huh.
Or if they not give you the information, that's also like a red flag.
Yeah. Listen, the withholding of the goods.
Yeah, that's like isn't that like punishable by law and shit if you did that in court?
Why are there so many audible gasps on this episode? Between the two of us, I think we done probably got like asthma.
Well, one of us does.
One of us does.
Very much.
So we have a really dope thing that we're gonna do. I like adding some kind of extra musical component to the end of our episodes where Q and I can exchange our personal tastes and ideas on things. So this segment is called Loop of the Week.
Yeah.
Although it should be Loop of the Month, I guess, because these are monthly episodes.
Yeah, loop of the month.
Loop of the Month. We're gonna be talking about our favorite collab tracks because the whole episode has been talking about collaboration, the good and the bad. But we also know when something works out nicely because we hear evidence of such in the things that we have either partook in or we've either heard other fellow musicians or artists do. So, Quinten, I must ask you, what is one iconic collab? It can be a song, it can be a project, it can be an entity. What are your favorite and most iconic musical collabs that hits for you, my guy?
Didn't really think about this. First thing that comes to mind would be the song "You Should Be Here," Raphael Sadiq D'Angelo. That's I mean, first of all, it's just a good song.
Yeah.
And it's two of my favorite like artists and producers and all of that.
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, that's kind of it. That song is fire.
Listen, anything that's involving
Play this shit right after that.
either one. You know what's so beautiful? When I think of Raphael, I actually think about collaboration. Not because I want to, Raphael, if you're listening, hit your girl up. But also, when I think about the majority, obviously he has his own solo acts, and it's great. But he is a very collaborative creator.
Mhm.
You know, Tony.
Yeah.
I know that he was like creating with D and was it Questlove for How Does It Feel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think about one of my
Lucy Pearl.
You know what I'm saying? He's always been a part of something group forward. He's always been a part of something that involves him taking what he does and enhancing or just colliding with another creative entity. And I think he's been a really beautiful example of that. So that's dope that you even say that.
Yeah.
All right.
Right off the dome,
Off
too.
the
Hell
tip
no.
it. I like it.
What say you? What is one of your favorite collabs?
I have many. But when I was trying to like think about what I was gonna say,
She has many.
right before this episode, because that's when I forgot. I was like, oh crap, I'd say this. I went through and looked through some music notes in my phone or computer. I am a huge fan of a full body of work by Music Soul Child and Hit Boy.
Oh yeah, you played that album.
And it is called Victims and Villains. And the reason I love this project so much is because I already know the essence of what music has. I am an avid music listener. I am a day one, literal year 2000 fan of this man. Okay. So I already knew stylistically and vocally what he has to offer. I was not as familiar with Hit Boy. I know he's a producer. I know he's prominent, but I, admittedly didn't have a strong vantage point. So hearing that, the beauty that came from every single track, and it was like, this is collaboration in its finest because it is. I'm so like taken aback by what they thought. I'm gonna take this, and you're gonna take that, and we're just gonna make this that thing. You know what I mean? That was my first one. I have one more. I don't look. Don't make the face.
I've been looking like this the entire time.
The people listening can't see it. They probably can hear your face through the mic, okay? So don't even do it. But I have to say it, and you will agree once you hear what it is.
Hey, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Ready? Black Radio 1, Robert Glasper Experiment.
Oh yeah, the whole damn thing.
The whole damn thing. The entire essence of that project, it was literal. Every single person, there's a different person to collaborate with on every song. And all these singers come from different walks of life. And every sonic being that came from the reimaginings of a lot of these covers and taking the essence of what the experiment was, like, I had never heard anything that beautiful in my life. That album changed my life. Sincerely, I consider it to hold that much weight because I had never heard collaborative work presented in such a manner that just not only like had its own sonic identity, but yet also took the very best of what each person that was coming to the forefront contained and highlighted it as such that it made sense with everything else that was going on. That is like the best everything.
Honestly, yeah, that's kind of the like the standard for a collab.
For sure.
Like, or how it should be the standard.
Yeah.
Like it had a vision, and you can hear it in the music. Executed flawlessly.
Executed. Chef's kiss, my boy. Yeah. So, moral of the story: if you are a Music Soul Child, or you're Robert Glasper, be free and Quinten or Raphael Sadiq, be free and Q, do very much want to collab with you.
Yes,
so
please.
Even though we've been giving these ups and downs in the episode of things that we've experienced and things that people should look out for, all of that will go out the window if we get a call from one of you guys. Because we know very much that the opportunity will be the equal weight of anything else that can be promised.
Well, that's the big difference between, shit that you're kind of obligated to do and shit you want to do.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to do what I want to do.
So, final thoughts: discernment and communication is key with collaboration, aka collab when it clicks and dip when it don't.
I like that.
Yeah. essentially. That's all we've been trying to say.
Yeah, the episode.
Yes. And this has been episode 2 of
The Love and the Loop with Be Free and Q.
I like how it's getting more comfortable with us saying that. And we are so happy to have everybody just rocking out with this. If you have not yet, please make sure that you follow, subscribe. We are everywhere at Be Free and Q. I spelled it out. Forget the ampersand. That's for me. It's Be Free and Q on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all those things so you can listen to the pod. If you're listening audibly but want to see the craziness that's also going on with the visual representation of this pod, you definitely need to check into our Instagram and our YouTube for the full pod.
Yes.
But also, if you have questions and thoughts about today's episode and you loved what you heard, if you want to add on to the commentary, if you like, you know what, hell yeah, that stuff stuck. Oh, you know what, this happened to me. Send us a form. Send us our submission form. Give us a note. Drop us a line. If you have questions about us living in life and music and matrimony and navigating that, it doesn't just have to be about the theme. Just want to say something. You want us to read it out on air? Do that too.
Yes.
That's what it's there for. We want to communicate with you guys. And this has been a wonderful installment. Please make sure you stay tuned. We will be back for a few more handfuls of episodes. We have a lovely season brewing, and I'm very excited about episode Trey, if I do say so myself.
You got something cooking up?
I might.
It's got some stew.
I got some stew, and you're going to put it in some vegetables.
Put in the vegetables to the stew.
Wait,
collaboration.
What's the most important ingredient of a stew? I could have said meat. Why would I think of?
Yeah, I want no damn vegetable stew.
Oh, and also I want to make sure that you guys know that we are individual collectives as well. Like we had this Be Free and Q thing going, but I can be found everywhere at Be Free to Music. That is the letter B, the word free, number 2, music. And how about you, Abba?
You can find me on Instagram at Roscoe_Duffy. That's once again Roscoe_Duffy. If you want to know the origin of that story,
I was going to say,
please put that in submission form. Right?
You were in my mind.
Yes.
I was like, for anybody out there that has no idea what that's about, please put in the submission form, what the hell is Roscoe Duffy and why is that your name? Because that's a story within itself. But we have been really great having the time here. So thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. And stay rocking with The Love and the Loop.
Till next time.
Yeah.